Market Update with Ann Dunford on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Haney Farms. Do you need seed? Find us at haneyfarms.com. We're joined right now on RealAgriculture.com for another edition of the Beef Market Update with Ann Dunford. Welcome today, Ann.
Hi, Sean.
And quick update. What's going on in the U.S.?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the week heading into Christmas. It looks like, depending on what side of the fence you're on, it looks like there's going to be a bit of a Christmas gift for U.S. cattle feeders in the terms of probably higher cattle prices later this week, and it's all because of some major winter weather moving through Kansas, Texas, and even Oklahoma. So we've got one of those wicked winter storms going on in areas of Kansas. They've had 8, 10, up to 12 inches of snow. And so what feedlots are doing are pulling cattle off the offering list, shortening up the supply, probably see wholesale prices come up. And likely packers are going to have to pay a little bit more this week. So I don't think we'll see trade right till Friday. I think it'll be a standoff. But again, heading into Christmas, I'm going to call it higher cash in the U.S. this week.
But just what the packer needs.
Well, I know he won't be happy. But on the flip side, though, Sean, because of the smaller kills, I do think he's going to get his cutout value up considerably by the end of this week, too. So maybe a bit of a seesaw saw-off there.
Say that 5 times. Okay, So here we are. It's Christmas time, judging by your hat.
Yes, I thought I'd dress for the occasion.
Perfect. So this week we're going to talk about what Ann wants for Christmas, and it has to relate to the cattle business. So, Ann, what is the first thing on your list?
Well, first of all, you can't leave talking about 2012 for anything in agriculture out of hopefully getting some continued cooperation from Mother Nature. I mean, we've talked a lot this year, of course, about the drought in the U.S. and what that's done to the U.S. Cattle herd and placement numbers. And so, as we go into a new year, the feeling is for better moisture conditions in the deep south. Let's most certainly hope we get the kind of conditions in Western Canada and all of Canada for that matter, of allowing grass to grow and crops to get planted and to go forward there. So my first wish is going to be probably the biggest fly in the ointment, but weather.
Well, if you look at last year with haying in a lot of areas, absolute dream in terms of output, and some areas kind of maybe struggle a little bit with quality, but overall the amount of volume was unbelievable.
Oh, I think that's what 2011 will go down for. Obviously, some areas we saw record cattle prices, not quite on feeder cattle for an annual average, but most certainly on fat cattle and cows, and most certainly as far as forage and hay supplies, very, very good situation. So we'd sure like to see that again for 2012.
So what's the second thing on Ann's wish list?
Well, I'm going to wish, this is going to sound a little corny, but prosperity to all, because the bottom line, Sean...
Oh, boo. That sounds boring. Come on,
no,
what is that?
No, it's good. Prosperity is good, trust me.
Yeah.
I do think, for our industry to move forward, 2011, and I'm talking about the grassroots level here, we finally saw a good, great, profitable year for cow-calf producers, and 1 year isn't enough, I guess is where I'm getting to with this. And we're going to need to see that continue, and we're going to need to see some of that equity recouped as we go forward. So I think that's definitely a possibility. Now, if you're sitting on the other side of the fence wearing a cattle feeder's hat or a packer's hat or whatever the case might be, even a retailer's hat, the squeeze is on. Obviously, input costs are going to be higher, whether it's from cattle prices, beef prices, all the rest of it, and shorter supply. So it's going to be a case of more wild, I think, volatility and price swings ahead. So get ready for that. It's not going to be for the faint of heart. But I do see some most certainly some profitability at the grassroots level, and we absolutely need it. We can't go forward in this industry without some growth and some stability and some encouraging signs at the grassroots level. So that's my number one wish.
Really, it's number 2, or you're putting that ahead of the first one.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's number 2. Yeah, I wasn't keeping track. I'm not a good numbers person.
So in terms of profitability of the grassroots cow-calf sector, is it just about the feeder prices, or is there something else that's really critical to having that second year in a row of profitability?
Oh well, there's no question. With input costs going up the way they are, most certainly the feed side, whether it's on the forage or the hay, well, like we've been talking about, that's the next most critical part of the whole equation. I mean, if we go into next year tight supplies and looking like great cattle prices ahead, and we run into a drought or the inability to pull a crop off, or hay, or run out of pasture, so I mean that goes hand in hand with this whole side of the equation. I think there's the other side that we haven't talked a whole bunch about in the last few calls on the demand side, and there's going to be less product to go around. So there's no question we're going to need to see more money for our product all the way through to retail, and that's going to cause some struggles, I think, as we march down this road.
What's number 3?
Well, I wasn't going to go too much. I wasn't going to be really greedy. I learned to get on and off of Santa's lap fairly quickly. So
It's always a good thing.
so I thought I was going to go with that one, but most certainly those are the things I see as important going forward. And again, I think look for lots of excitement next year. It's not going to be, like I say, just a straight up from here. I'm sure we're going to all get surprises. We're still in the midst of lots of global economic uncertainty. And so, I don't think the story has been written. Oh, I'll add one more just before we finish on. I'd like to see the Canadian dollar average under par next year. So this year, for the record, we are going to average on an annual basis over par. And that would be nice to get it cracked the other direction for next year.
There's probably a pretty good probability of that, is there not? Based on the economic situation that's out there?
Right. I mean, and again, it all goes back to, and I think that's one thing we as producers need to understand better, is how all of these global currencies impact what's happening at home. But, the euro having an impact as the exodus happens in the euro to the US dollar, and what that impact is here in the Canadian dollar. I mean, all these things are a key part in what's going on in our cattle prices here and abroad. So, I most certainly think there's a good chance for the dollar to be under par. But again, who would have seen coming what we see today?
Okay, Ann, well, we had a great year of beef market updates. I want to wish you Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you in the new year.
Yes, same to you, and safe travels, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.